Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking all things shiny and highlighting because apparently that is what everyone wants right now. Highlighting is so in, I'm seeing it everywhere. So I dug through my collection, a few highlighters in my collection that I found to be affordable, easily accessible, well most of them are, and they're pretty good highlighters. Most of the highlighters that I use, keep in mind, are neutral toned. I don't use anything crazy like pinks or fluorescents or anything like that on my face unless I'm doing something artistic, which I don't usually do on a day-to-day basis. So most of these highlighters are going to be neutral tone. So I'm going to be going over some singles. I'm also going to be going over some palettes, and of course we can't forget the cult favorites that started it all. So anyways, if you're interested in learning more about these highlighting products that are affordable and easily accessible, then just keep on watching. So the first one that I'm going to start out with is one that I actually purchased at Ulta. This one is the Essence Pure Nude Highlighter. This one is a champagne, like a nude shade. It really doesn't look very promising inside of the packaging, but when you swatch it, it actually is, it gives off like a nude tone highlight. But I'll swatch it on my hand so you can see the effect that it gives. So it doesn't look like much, but it does give a really subtle sheen to the skin. See if I build it up. So you can see sort of the sheen right there. It's very subtle, but it's really pretty for day to day, and it does give a really good highlighted effect. Moving on to another one that I found very useful, and it does give a really nice sheen. This is actually the one that I am wearing today here on my cheekbones, if you can see that. It doesn't look very promising in the pan, but when you apply it to the skin, it looks really good. And this one is from Makeup Revolution Pro Illuminate. And this one I also got off of Ulta, and it's very affordable. And this one's a really huge pan, so this is going to last you forever, but I'll show you what that one looks like. I'll swatch it next to that Makeup Revolution one. This one's the Makeup Revolution, that shine right there. I'm going to post it right here next to it. So there's the two tones right there. It's really nice, and I do recommend this one. The next one that I have is from Wet n Wild, which this one's probably the one that's probably not the most accessible one. It's this one right here. It was a limited edition highlight powder. I think it was like their summer collection, and this one was only like $3.99. And I know there's a lot of fighting over this one when they restocked online because their website crashed. If you can find this anywhere in the drugstore, I know that they're supposed to be refilling on this one. This one's a really nice one too. It's also pretty similar, but it's a little bit more golden in my opinion. Can't see it on my finger. So I'm looking at my hand, and one's definitely more nude, a little one's a little more champagne pink, and this one's more golden. So I'll swatch it here at the end of my hand. I'll have a photo with these swatches in better lighting, so you can see the differences between these three. But so far these three, they're drugstore, they're very affordable, and they give a really nice effect to the skin. Another one that's not really marketed as a highlight, it's actually more of a bronzer that it's being marketed as, is this e.l.f. one, which I know you can find in stores, and it's also very affordable. It's got 4 different shades in it, so you can actually use the 4 as separate tones, or you can swirl them all together to get a unique shade. This one is called Golden Bronzer. It's golden. I'm thinking there's different shades in this one, but this is the one that I got that I thought would suit my skin tone the best. And like I said, it's got 4 different shades in there. So I'll swatch these individually in a photo so you can see what they look like. It's marketed as a bronzer, but this is just way too shimmery to be a bronzer. But if you swirl these together, it'll also give a really pretty like golden champagne. Okay, so now that we've talked about singles, I do have a couple of palettes that have highlighters in it that are still affordable, have a few different options in them, and I think that they're really good products to look for, especially if you really do like highlighting and you kind of want to get a head start on that collection of yours, and you don't want to do singles and you want to do something where you can get more bang for your buck. So let me show you first this little palette. This is the Manizer Sister Palettes by The Balm. I had been looking for the Mary Luminizer for a while, and I finally found the full-size palette, or the full-size compact, at Kohl's, but it was pretty pricey, I think. So when I saw this palette, which was being offered at Cosmoprof, I quickly purchased it because it's got 3 different shades of highlighters in it, and this palette was pretty affordable. It was only like $14 or somewhere around there, and I thought it's a good price point, and these are good size pans. If you are a makeup addict, then you probably have more than one highlighter already in your collection, so getting a full-size highlighter may not be to your advantage, just because you're not going to go through it as quickly, seeing as though you have a lot more options in your collection. So this size I thought was pretty good and convenient, and for the price point. So I picked this palette up, and it's got the 3 highlighters by The Balm Cosmetics, which has the Mary Luminizer, which is the white shade, oops, sorry, wrong way, white shade highlighter, and it's got the Cindy Luminizer, which is kind of more like a blush topper, and it's like a pink in tone, and then it's got the bronze, I'm going the wrong way, the bronze shade, which is the Betty Luminizer, which some people use as bronzers. It's too shimmery for me, especially since I have textured skin, so this is more like a blush topper as well for those like the bronze neutral types of blushes. That's what I would use, that bronzy one. Or for deeper skin tone, it could show up more like a bronze gold highlight. For me, it's a little too pigmented for my skin tone, so that's what I would use it as, more as a blush topper. These are really pigmented. All 3 of them are really pigmented, if you can see them right there. Very good quality powders. Yeah, pretty intense highlights. Let's see, can you see that bronze one? So as you can see right here, those are pretty intense. They have really good color payoff. So if you can still find this palette, I would suggest you pick this up if you're looking for the Mary Luminizer. I really enjoy it, and I think that this is probably better suited for me instead of getting that single compact, which was, I think it was over $20, and this one was only $14, and you sort of get tester size to decide if you like it, and if you do, you can always buy the full size. But seeing as though I'm constantly collecting makeup, I probably won't even go through this one, so I think this is a pretty good size for me. The next palette that I'm going to share is one from BH Cosmetics. This is the Carly Bybel palette, and this is actually a shadow and highlighting palette. And the price point, I think it's definitely under $20 when I purchased it. I want to say it was about 10 to 15 bucks for this whole palette, and I really enjoy it. First of all, I like that it has the shadows with mauve tones, which I don't really have a lot of shadows in my collection that are those shades, but these highlights in particular, they're really good, and you're getting a variety. So you have like a pink tone one, then you have more of a champagne, then you have a golden, and then you have a bronze. So it gives you options in this palette, and these ones are also pretty pigmented. You can use them as highlighting for your eyes, or you can use them as shadows, as you can see right there. Really nice powders, and again, see that, super pigmented. Oop, it's blinding you. And again, for the price point, it's pretty good. So you can use a light amount, you can use a darker amount, just depending on how stark you want that highlight to be on your skin tone. But for a palette, I thought this was pretty good. Again, 10 to 15 bucks, you get eyeshadows and you get 4 different shades of highlighters. So if you're trying to build your collection, this is probably a good way to start. I'm all for palettes. Personally, palettes are my favorites just because they're more travel friendly and you do get more options, and I find that the sizes versus the price point that you're paying for these are a lot better than if you buy them as single pans. Those tend to be a lot more expensive, and you don't ever really go through those unless you're only buying like one item per type of product that you're looking for, like one highlighter, one blush, one mascara, one eyeshadow. Then if you only have one of each, you're definitely going to go through them. But if you're watching this channel, you're probably a collector, so buying them in single pans probably isn't to your advantage. Getting them in palettes like these is probably a much better option, because you'll never go through an entire pan of product. Unless you're like a freelance makeup artist or you're doing, you know, makeup on the side and you're constantly using them for clients, then you might want to consider the single pans if you particularly find yourself using a shade more than all the other ones. But if you like options, definitely palette versions I would recommend. And the last palette that I want to talk about is this Makeup Revolution palette. I purchased this from Ulta. Now, I really like this palette for its contour shades. The contour shades in here are really good, but it also has the highlighters in here. Not all of them are my favorite. There's only one or two that I really reach for in here, which is going to be the more champagne tone, which is this one right here, and this one right here as a blush topper. And then this one's a pretty stark one too for like a very bright white highlight. So I'll swatch those for you. The formula is a little different on this one. So it's definitely a powder that you do have to work with, more so than like the Balm Cosmetics that I just showed you. This one's more white and this one's more pink. And this top one's more champagne. So they do show up really nicely on the skin. This is one of the kinds of highlight formulas that you're really going to want to blend out and work with on the skin. But it is I like the highlighters in there. I find them easy to work with, and then if anything, these contour shades are actually really good. It's got a couple of different shades in there and they do blend out really, really well. So I really do like this particular palette. And again, very inexpensive. I'm pretty sure it wasn't over $20. It was probably around that 10 to 15 price range. You can find this at Ulta, and don't cheat yourself. Ulta usually always has coupons, so look up before you go into the store, see if they have that I think it's $3.50, and they upped it to like 15 bucks. What's up with that? It used to be $10, but you know, $3.50 is still some money off of the product. So I would try to order either online from Ulta Cosmetics or go into the store. The Carly Bybel palette, I believe it was only available online on bhcosmetics.com, but if I'm not mistaken, this was also going to be available at Ulta. So I would probably try looking there and see if they already have it, and if not, going onto the BH Cosmetic website. So those are the palettes that I have, and also the single shadows. I hope that I was able to provide you, some insight on some highlighters that are available, that are affordable, in case you're into the whole highlighting thing, you want to be a part of that highlighting game. And that's all I have for this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. Spirit fingers.
So I dug through my collection and looked up for some, pricely for some reasonably priced that you are into the highlighting, and in case you're into highlighting and you want to
more bang for your buck. Ooh, it's hot in here.